What's good, everybody? Welcome back. Got some playoff recaps for you today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Listen, I'm better than ESPN. Okay, they're not better than me. I'm way more informative. Those other guys, I mean, they're good, but are they me? No, I'm better. So, subscribe to me. Don't listen to them. Listen to me. And if you do already, thank you. I appreciate you, of course. But we're gonna get started. Got had three games last night. Indiana, Milwaukee. You had Dallas and Clippers. You had Minnesota and Phoenix, which is the game that we will start with. Minnesota ends up winning by 12, 105 to 93. Another game where Phoenix loses by double digits. And I didn't mention this last episode, but another game where Minnesota defensively dominated them to the point where Phoenix didn't crack 100 points again. Last game they had 95. This game they did better. Phoenix only ended up scoring 93 points. To start with Phoenix, though, just not good numbers from the stars. Yeah, Bradley Beal 6 to 17. Kevin Durant 6 of 15. Devin Booker 20 points. A 6 for 13 is efficient, but it's not good enough. Your stars are are gonna be the guys to lead you in the playoffs, lead you to a championship, and it just wasn't enough production from those guys because they don't have great depth. Drew Eubanks, I guess he gave them good minutes. Eric Gordon was fine today. He had 15 points. Royce O'Neal, he actually 0 points. He didn't even take a shot today. He was good last game though, but like that's not elite talent off the bench. So the stars are gonna need to do a lot of of heavy lifting, especially offensively. And the the Minnesota Timberwolves, their defense is so suffocating. They make it so tough on them to score. They turn you over. I mean, they had what 19 turnovers as a team. The Phoenix Suns did. It's very hard for them to score, but it's not all just Minnesota's defense. Like they need to be better, and when I mean they, I mean Phoenix. They as a collective need to be better offensively. They're not executing well on that end. I said it last video. They need to be more fluid in their offense, meaning more movement, more screens to get other guys open. Like ISO ball, it only works so much. Like we know Devin Booker can go ISO. We know Kevin Durant can go ISO. We know even Bradley Beal can go ISO. But that's not their best use of offense. They need to be better at executing. Devin Booker literally fouled out in the game and said at the end, after the game, that they needed to be better executing offensively. And I absolutely agree with him. They need to do a better job because if not, they're down 0-2. Next game, they're moving to Phoenix now, so maybe the home crowd can get them some some energy for them to play better. But they need game three is a must win for them. If they don't win, then you could just forget about them winning this series. And we're gonna have a hard conversation if that happens. If Phoenix ends up losing, we're gonna talk about the Durant trade. We're gonna talk about the Bradley Beal trade, and we're gonna talk about how that's probably one of the most underachieving trades, underachieving teams we've seen in a while. So well, I wouldn't even say a while because the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden were also underachieving too. But this is a franchise who was brought by Matt Ishbia, a new owner. He wants to go all in to get three max guys, and obviously forfeiting the ability to get quality depth because you're paying all these your top three guys so much money, and it's not working out. You're down 0-2 in the series. It's not over, but again, game three is a must win. They need to get that game. They need to be better offensively. I will say defensively, they were a little better. As we move over to Anthony Edwards in the Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards was 3 for 12. 18 points. He 7 of those points came from the free throw line. I thought they did a good job of him of just playing more physical with him, showing him a little more bodies, not letting him get into a rhythm offensively at any point during the night. Same with Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns was had 12 points. He was in foul trouble for most of the night. He ended up picking 3 fouls in the first quarter, and then he sat the entire second quarter. the entire second quarter. A lot of those minutes ended up going to Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who had a fantastic game again, 10 points, 5 assists off the bench, again playing great defense. But those are your top two guys. But guess who stepped up? Jaden McDaniels. Offensively and defensively, just an absolute complete game. He had 25 points on 10 of 17 shooting, 8 rebounds. 5 of those rebounds were offensive rebounds, so he was crashing the glass as much as he could. And he was so good on both ends of the floor. He was attacking. It didn't matter if Kevin Durant was on him. It didn't matter if Yusuf Nurkic was on him. It didn't matter if Bradley Beal was on him. Like, he was attacking anybody, getting into the paint at will. And on the other end, he's limiting Devin Booker. He's limiting Kevin Durant. He's limiting Bradley Beal. The guy is 6'9" with a very long wingspan. He's been great for them these past 2 games. Remember last year they played Denver. He wasn't there. He broke his hand. He didn't play that series. But you see how important it is to have your role players be able to step up in these moments, and he did that. So shout out to him. Shout out to Gobert. 18 points, 9 rebounds, another good defensive performance. He's not a role player. I mean, the guy's been a multiple-time All-Star, but when you're able to get that production from the center spot for a guy who isn't really an offensive weapon, that you gotta shout him out for that too. And then Mike Conley, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, a couple steals, hit 3 threes, 14 points in the first half. He played an excellent game as well. He's always been the calming force for them because he's the veteran. He's the oldest guy on the team. He's been through a lot of playoff battles. When he has the ball in his hands, everything just seems all right. He knows how to execute. He knows how to take good shots. He knows how to take care of the ball. He did that today. It gave them a more offensive punch again because no Towns and Edwards didn't have their best offensive performances. So overall, a great team win for Minnesota. Shout out to them. They took care of business, getting their first 2 on their home floor. They go to Phoenix for games 3 and 4. Phoenix, of course, the onus is on you to get your act together. It's still game 3 and 4, so you guys can get back into the series. But with the way Minnesota is playing, they're poised to win this series. So let's see if the Phoenix Suns can respond back to them. All right. Then let's transition to the Milwaukee Bucks game, where Milwaukee and Indiana play game 2, and Indiana, the first road team to win a game. Every home team had won until the Indiana Pacers won. So Indiana wins in Milwaukee to steal game 2. Series is now tied 1-1. They win by 17 points. Damian Lillard, 34 points, 6 threes. He played a good game. At the same time, though, he didn't play well in the second half again. Game 1, he didn't need to. He scored. Remember, he had 35 points. He scored 0 points in the second half, but he didn't really need to because they were blowing out Indiana. I didn't necessarily make a big deal about it. And it's hard to make a big deal about it again, just because 34 points is 34 points. Like, that's not nothing. You know what I'm saying? Without Giannis, he's been stepping up offensively, but again, not a great second half from him. I think he only had 8 points in the entire second half after cooking in the first half. He had 15 in the first quarter. Him and Brook Lopez, who had 22 points, he had 6 threes. They were cooking. They were doing everything they can to keep the offense flowing. Their offense, to me, wasn't the biggest issue, but without Giannis, their offense just doesn't have the dynamic effect. Chris Middleton was okay. He had 15. But those are your main guys to give you scoring punch. Bobby Portis, 14 and 11. But again, offensively, their problem was just they weren't dynamic enough on offense. It was just Damian Lillard, Brook Lopez, pick and roll, high screen and roll. Damian Lillard, you have to guard him the minute he passes half court because of his ability to shoot. So it's just a Bobby Portis or Brook Lopez. I'm going to set a high screen and roll at the logo. I'm Damian Lillard. I'm going to curl around the screen, and I'm just going to pull up, and I'm going to hit it because I'm Damian Lillard. You know what I'm saying? But that's basically what their entire offense was. Their offense ended up stalling out, and the Indiana Pacers were able to take advantage. They hit 16 threes versus, 13 threes. That's not bad, but man, it was the quality of looks they were getting. Tyrese Halliburton, again, I said last game that he needed to have a little bit more of a scoring mindset. He only had 12 points, but he did have 12 assists. I do have to say, I still think that he's gonna need to be a little more of a scoring threat this series. But 12, though, his passing was phenomenal. Like Tyrese Halliburton, when he comes, if he's running a pick and roll, there's a lot of times where he's getting blitzed by two guys and he's getting the ball out quickly. And when he's getting the ball out, the Indiana Pacers they're able to capitalize off the fact that he's getting double teamed, and they did that. They really did that. Andrew Nembhard, 20 points. Miles Turner had a bounce back game. He was 5 of 17 last game, but he had 22 points this game, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Yeah, Pascal Siakam, another playoff career high. He had 36 last game. He has 37 today, 37 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Aaron Nesmith played good. He had 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. As a team, 38 assists on 50 made field goals. Their passing was absolutely phenomenal today. From not just Halliburton. Halliburton had 12 assists, but again, these guys had 7 assists. They had really good production from every single person who played. Even the bench guys, Ben Shepherd, the Obi Toppins, the TJ McConnell, all gave them pretty good minutes. And they were pretty good defensively. They really were. There was a point I remember in the fourth quarter, to start the fourth quarter, they were able to force basically an 8-second violation. 3 guys didn't even pass half court. They're pressuring the Bucks players as they're coming up the court. Damian Lillard calls timeout because there's like 16 seconds left for them to get the ball across, and they're not even past like the half court line. So they come out the timeout, and Chris Middleton is taking the ball out. The Indiana defense is so good that they end up forcing a 5-second violation because Chris Middleton didn't get the ball inbounded. And that was a great adjustment by Rick Carlisle, just putting more pressure on the ball, making them pick up full court, putting pressure on them. And Indiana, again, their offense was clicking all night. So when they got the ball back, they just did what they had to do on offense, moving the ball and getting really good look. The biggest thing to me besides the passing was the points in the paint. Indiana, 52 points in the paint to Milwaukee's 36 points in the paint. This was a big problem for me because Milwaukee, their defense was absolutely horrific today. Or yesterday, I should say. Their defense was not good. Pascal Siakam literally did whatever he wanted. If Pascal Siakam caught the ball on the 3-point line and he says, I want to go to the paint, he got to the paint. There was no resistance at all. If Halliburton wanted to run a pick and roll with Miles Turner or Pascal, they would run it very successfully. There was no pressure. There was a point even in the first half where Damian Lillard is switched on to Pascal Siakam in the post, and there was no help. Like, you're gonna leave Damian Lillard, a point guard, on Pascal Siakam, a power forward? Are you kidding me? Like, where is the defensive help? Where's the help? You're going to leave him on an island? You cannot do that. Damian Lillard is not Kyle Lowry. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kyle Lowry, historically, is a point guard who is really hard to post up because he's really good at not being beat by bigger guys. Damian Lillard is not that. He has never been a good defender. So to leave him on an island like that, it was just poor. I don't know if it was poor coaching or poor effort, but either way, that was really bad defense by the Milwaukee Bucks. They cannot let that happen. Pascal Siakam has destroyed them these first 2 games. Absolutely destroyed them. The guy who you obviously would be guarding him is Giannis, but Giannis is not here. So Bobby Portis will be guarding him, and Bobby Portis has not done a great job. Brook Lopez can only do so much to protect the rim, especially since Miles Turner is a 3-point shooter. So he might be on the perimeter a lot, and Brook Lopez is going to follow him out. You know what I'm saying? Brook Lopez is going to follow him out, which is easy for Aaron Nesmith or Tyrese Halliburton to get into the paint. Like, they have to do a better job of containing the ball, of not letting Indiana get into the paint. Because if they're getting to the paint, 52 points in the paint, and they're hitting 16 threes, their offense is clicking on all cylinders. Like against this Milwaukee team who has not been great defensively all season, it's just it's an issue for me. So they go back to Indiana for games 3 and 4. We'll see what adjustments that the Milwaukee Bucks will be able to make, and a lot of it to me has to be defensively, putting more pressure on Siakam, not letting them get to their easy offensive actions. And then we have Dallas and the Clippers. The Dallas, the second team to win on the road. They even out the series 1-1 after a 3-point win in Los Angeles. Luka had 32. 11 of 26, 5 of 14 from the field, from 3. So not his most efficient game, but Kyrie had 23 as well. But to me, that's not the story. I don't even want to talk about their offense. Kyrie and Luka's defense was phenomenal, bro. Like absolutely phenomenal. Honestly, in all my years of watching Luka and Kyrie, I have to say that's the best defense I think I've ever seen either of them play. Kyrie was playing like I thought Kyrie should have made all defense last night. Like that's how good he was. You know what I'm saying? He was in the passing lanes. He was putting pressure on the ball. He was deflecting the ball. He was not letting anybody who he was guarding get any easy passes. It was like phenomenal. And Luka was blocking shots. He wasn't letting people get past him as easily as he has in the past. Their pressure defensively is what really changed the game for the entire Dallas Mavericks team, because the score, it wasn't a high scoring game. It was 93-96. Their defensive intensity really to me defined the entirety of the game, because if you see your 2 star guys putting that much effort defensively, it flows and it bleeds onto the rest of the team. It really does. So shout out to them. Their defense, the Dallas defense as a team was absolutely excellent. And then you go to the Clippers side, and it's like Kawhi Leonard makes his return after being out 9 straight games. The knee looks all right. He was moving well to me. He really was moving well. He defensively he was fine. He had 4 steals, bro. Don't forget how good defensively Kawhi is. Okay, I mean the guy is an absolute menace on that end. Okay. But he was 7 of 17 from the field. I think he struggled a lot. He didn't make a 3 today. His first game back, so there's obviously some rust. But you gotta again. Most of this is me crediting the Dallas Maverick defense. But yeah, 15 from Leonard. Paul George had 22. You wish he had a little bit more though. He had James Harden 22 points, but he was 2 of 10 from 3. 6 rebounds, 8 assists, and then Russell Westbrook, after having a really good game 1, 2 for 9 off the bench, and Norman Powell was 2 for 10 off the bench. They were 8 of 30 from 3. That's 26%. That is not good. And then from the field overall, 32 of 87. That's 36.8%. That's the game right there. They weren't able to hit their shots. They weren't being efficient. I thought defensively they were okay too. Like I don't think they were terrible defensively. I thought they did a pretty good job actually defensively, but they weren't able to hit their shots. And at the end of the game, even though it was a tough night for Luka was hitting step back threes over James Harden. He's been clutch all his entire career. So he was able to make enough plays at the end for them to get the win. But for the Clippers, they're gonna have to hit their shots, man. They're gonna have to hit their shots. And for the Mavericks, if they wanna be able to beat the Clippers, the defense they played today is gonna be how they're going to need to play for the rest of the series. Honestly, probably for the rest of the playoffs. Like I don't know defensively if you can get that kind of pressure that Kyrie and Luka gave last night, but if they can do anything similar to that, they have a really good chance of making a lot of noise in the West, because the West is tough. The West is extremely tough. If they were to win this series, they would play the winner between OKC and the New Orleans. So there's a path for them to get to the Western Conference Finals, and even in the conference that's really tough. So keep up that defensive pressure. Clippers, y'all got to be a little bit better offensively. But I think they're capable of being better offensively, honestly. If Kawhi Leonard could be what he has been historically in the playoffs, um, and you can get a better game from James Harden and Russell Westbrook and Norman Powell, I think they're in prime position because their defense has been good. Just their offense has struggled. Sort of is the reason why they weren't able to win last night's game. But that's all we have for today. Got a couple games tonight. Gonna watch Boston beat Miami again. And OKC and Pelicans. That was a good first game one. We'll see what happens game two. But I'll have that recap for you again. But thank y'all for listening. I appreciate you guys. Again, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm better than ESPN. Just want to put it out there again. They can't mess with me. I'm way better than them. Get this video out to as many people as possible, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.